Hi everyone! I'm very excited to be taking part in the Unique Antique Challenge hosted by the lovely Crystal from the Crafty Creech DIY and Diana from First Rain Furniture. The theme is French Provincial floral, meaning you have to start with a piece of French Provincial style furniture and add a floral element in your upcycling. I'm going a bit left field with my floral element and adding a little twist, so I'll be really intrigued to see what you all think. So here we go. Firstly, I'll remove all of the handles and set them aside to clean later. Okay, got myself ready for sanding. I'm putting 120 grit sandpaper on my orbital sander and giving it a good going over. Then I've got the same 120 grit on my detail sander just to clean up some of the edges. This is a medium grit sanding sponge which is very useful for rounded edges like these classically French style feet. I will link a lot of what I'm using in the description box below in case any of it's useful. I'm now just gently running along some of the edges with my palette knife to remove any paint buildup. I've got a solution of sugar soap in my spray bottle just to give it a good clean and remove any residue. Just sanding off the drawer fronts and then they can get a good clean too. With everything fully prepped and dry, it's time to paint. This is the colour Desert Rose from Dixie Belle's Silk range. We're going to use this on the base, the back and the interior just for a pop of colour. The next colour we're going for is Midnight Sky, which is one of the Dixie Belle chalk paints. I do love this colour, it is actually one of my favourites, but I might be about to change my plans slightly. So I did a second coat on one of the drawer fronts just to give it a proper chance, but then I went away and made a start on cleaning up the handles so I could rethink my colour choices. I basically marinated the handles and all the little screws and pieces of hardware in some paint stripper, and then went back to painting with Dixie Belle's Dried Sage, which is also one of the chalk paint range, and I think just in general a gentler look for this piece. Starting to feel a bit happier with that colour combination already, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below because I always love to hear your opinions, especially when I've changed a plan halfway through a flip. Drawers are done, time to paint the frame. So I left these handles in the paint stripper for about an hour, and I can see by all the bubbling and flaking that they're ready to be scrubbed with a little brush, which should get all of the paint off. So the next thing I'm going to do, just to make them extra clean and shiny, is boil them in half vinegar, half water for about 20 minutes. After that, I use a sponge and some cream cleaner to give them a really good scrub. It's a bit of a labour of love, but it really does make a big difference. So the final coats of paint are dry, which means it's time for my floral element. It's a little bit less traditional than the classic pastel floral that looks so pretty with this style, but I wanted to try something a little bit different. This is the classic lace stencil from ReDesign with Prima, and I'm going to use some Dixie Belle Mud in white to create a raised textured design across the drawer fronts. I left the mud for 5 minutes, as per its instructions, while it was on the stencil before I very carefully peeled each one off. On one of the drawer fronts, I reused one strip of stencil from another drawer. I think with paint that's probably fine. With this exact combination, I probably wouldn't recommend it, only because the stencils are very thin and the mud is quite thick, and I think you'd just end up with a neater finish and less tidying to do if you used a fresh strip of stencil each time. I'm just using some frog tape here to create a little bit of white detailing to go on the edge of the frame. I quite like doing this when I have another colour on the drawer fronts, just because I feel like it ties it together a little bit. This is a very quick and handy trick if you have any drawers that are stiff on their runners. I'm just using a little bit of clear wax on a brush just to really wax up those runners on the inside of the frame, and then you'll find that the drawers slide in really smoothly. I'm using Frenchique's Tough Top Coat on the drawer fronts and actually the pink sides of the drawers as well, just to really protect that raised design and the pink colour when you're pulling the drawers in and out. I'm then going to seal the rest of the piece with that same clear wax from Annie Sloan. Just using a lint-free cloth to buff off any excess wax, and then we're ready to reattach the hardware and put it all together. Okay, this is just a little reminder of our starting point, and this is the finished piece. I'm actually really happy with the overall effect. I've definitely learned a few things working with the mud and the stencils, and I feel like I could get a sharper finish in the future, but I really enjoyed experimenting with something new, which is why I love these YouTube creator challenges. A huge thank you to Crystal and Diana, and don't forget to check out their channels as well as the other amazing furniture artists who have taken part. The playlist is linked at the end of this video. I love hearing your thoughts and opinions, so please comment below. I always read them and reply, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed watching. I'll see you next time with a cool IKEA piece. I'll give you a hint: dragonflies. That's all I'm saying. Bye!